Scorpio Sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU! This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you've never heard of. My name's Tom. I am your host. Today is Sunday, March 21st, 2021. It is the day of WWE's Fastlane pay-per-view, and we'll be getting to preview and predictions of that in just a little bit here. But first of all, I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from. Make sure to check out the website, catchhookshoot.com, where you can find everything related to the show. Also, make sure you're following on social media on all platforms. You can find the show at Catch Hook Shoot. Head to patreon.com/CatchHookShoot for bonus content and all kinds of nice little perks and benefits that you get by subscribing over there. And make sure you're checking out our Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/CatchHookShoot, where I'm doing a watch party every week, every other week. I didn't get to do one last night like I wanted to. Had a little bit of a family thing going on. But everything's all good. I just wasn't able to do the Twitch stream last night. But next week on Saturday, I am planning to do it again. Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Time, and I'm going to be streaming a documentary or a movie called The Trade about Sick Nick Mondo. It looks pretty interesting, so make sure to check that out. Twitch.tv/CatchHookShoot. Head to ProWrestlingTees.com/CatchHookShoot for all your T-shirt needs, and you can find links to all of that and a whole lot more at linktree/CatchHookShoot, or if you're watching on YouTube, just scan the little QR code in the bottom of your screen. And if you ever want to send me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So once again, this week, starting off on another sad note, another wrestler passed away this week. Just yesterday, as a matter of fact, Barry O., whose full name is Barry Orton, brother of Cowboy Bob Orton, uncle of Randy Orton. For those of you that may not remember, or if it was before your time, Barry O was an enhancement talent in WWE during the 80s. In WWE's weekly TV shows back then, WWF Superstars, Wrestling Challenge, Primetime Wrestling. Most of the matches that were shown were enhancement matches. You had, the big name stars taking on enhancement guys, but they used a lot of the same enhancement guys all the time, so much so that they became pretty well known in their own right, especially among WWF fans at the time. And Barry O was one of those enhancement talents. Had a lot of matches on TV. So passed away yesterday at I believe it was the age of 62. So rest in peace to Barry Orton. So let's get right into everything going on in the wonderful world of pro wrestling this week, starting it all off like always with the match of the week. This week's match of the week comes from AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday, and it was the main event lights out match between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. These two women tore it up. It was the first ever women's main event on AEW Dynamite, and it did not disappoint. I mean, you would not see this match in WWE, and that's not a knock against WWE. It's just, they're the way that they do things. You would not see a match like this. We saw blood, we saw weapons, we saw just all kinds of stuff. Fantastic match. If you haven't seen it, why the hell not? Go back, check it out. Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker beat the hell out of each other, and it was a great match. So, or at least I think it was a great match. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And of course, there's people online talking crap about it. And honest to God, I think the people that knock this match or AEW's women's division in general, truthfully, I think they just hate women's wrestling. No matter what they say, no matter how much they want to argue that fact, that's my belief. They just straight up hate women's wrestling, and that's that. Which, if women's wrestling isn't your thing, that's fine, I guess. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it. You don't like women's wrestling? Hey, great, whatever. But don't sit here and try to say that they're boring or that they don't know how to wrestle, or especially that they don't know how to wrestle, because you know what? No fan is qualified to make that call. None, not one, not me, not you, not Dave Meltzer, not anybody. No fan is qualified to say that a professional wrestler who makes a living at wrestling doesn't know how to wrestle. Sorry, you're not qualified to make that call. But yeah, Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker, lights out match, first ever women's main event for AEW Dynamite. That's the match of the week. Definitely make sure you go back and check it out. So let's keep moving right along here into the next segment of the show, my top 3 highlights of the week, and that is the 3 count. Number 1 on the 3 count this week, Asuka getting vicious with Shayna Baszler on Monday Night Raw. Now, if you remember a few weeks back, Shayna Baszler hit Asuka with a pretty hard kick to the face, knocked out some of her teeth, possibly gave her a concussion. Never saw really any confirmation on that. There was some people speculating about it, but put Asuka out for a couple of weeks. And this week, Asuka came back to get her revenge and just put a beat down on Baszler, curb stomped her into the corner, and trying to do to Shayna what Shayna had done to Asuka. So and I like seeing this more vicious, more serious side to Asuka. This is more along the lines of the Asuka that we saw in NXT when she was undefeated for so long and was NXT Women's Champion and things like that. So I like the way they're building this rivalry, because honestly, Asuka and Shayna, probably I would put them 1 and 2 as the top 2 badass women in the WWE Women's division. So hopefully this is building to a singles match between the two of them, I would think, at WrestleMania. And if they let these two go out there and do their thing, that is going to be an amazing freaking match between Asuka and Shayna Baszler. So hopefully that's where it's leading to, but we'll have to wait and see. Number 2 on the 3 count, Don Callis cut an awesome promo on Rich Swann on Impact this past Tuesday. Now, of course, this is all leading up to the main event of Impact's next pay-per-view, where we're going to see a title-for-title match with Rich Swann versus Kenny Omega. And Don Callis, of course, is now, I don't know if you'd call him a manager or a hype man or whatever you want to call it. He's with Kenny Omega, and basically telling Rich Swann that it's hopeless, that Kenny Omega is going to take the Impact title, and reiterating that for every huge moment in Kenny Omega's career, that Callis has been there in one way or another, and this is something that's been in the works and been planned and thought out, and this is kind of the culmination of the big master plan between Don Callis and Kenny Omega. So just a really, really great promo by Don Callis. So again, if you have not seen this, it's online. You can definitely find it like on Impact's Twitter page or whatever. Go check it out. It was just a fantastic promo. And number 3 on the 3 count, Walter made his return to NXT here in the U.S. Showed up on NXT this past Wednesday, and just kind of decimated Tommaso Ciampa. And this is continuing the storyline between Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher, and Imperium. Imperium kind of making a play to get Thatcher into their fold, and so I would think that this is definitely. I would expect to see Thatcher probably join Imperium at some point. Thatcher was not on NXT this week. It was kind of implied that Imperium had something to do with him not being there. But then, seeing Walter make an appearance at NXT was definitely a cool surprise. So I was hoping they would pick up the rivalry between Walter and Finn Balor that had started before the pandemic. But Walter and Tommaso Ciampa, I can definitely deal with that. So hopefully we'll get to see that one sooner rather than later. So let's get into all the news and rumors and results and all that kind of fun stuff from this week, starting off with WWE. Excuse me. We found out that the Raw main event for WWE is going to be Drew McIntyre challenging Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship, and it was just kind of announced out of left field. It was, didn't result. I mean, obviously, McIntyre hasn't gotten a rematch for the title since Miz cashed in the Money in the Bank on him. I get that. But there was really no hype around the announcement. They just announced it right at the top of Raw this week. So it was a little anticlimactic, I guess, would be the best word as far as the announcement goes. Usually you see stuff like this on an in-ring segment, like a promo or something like that. So, little weird, but it is what it is. We're gonna get McIntyre versus Lashley at WrestleMania, which I would think is going to be a good match. It's not the first time these guys have met. Had a great rivalry and Impact before they both returned to WWE. So, I'm have no issue with the match. It's just the way that they announced it I thought was a little odd. We had another Hall of Fame announcement this week. Eric Bischoff is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, which deservedly so. I mean, this is the guy that had WWE on its heels for close to 2 years, and it was really the first time anyone had ever done that. So a lot of people have a lot of very strong opinions about Eric Bischoff, one way or the other, but you can't deny what he has contributed to the wrestling business. You can't. I'm sorry. If you try to, then you're not paying attention. But so yeah, Eric Bischoff going into the WWE Hall of Fame with the class of 2021. Kind of surprised he wasn't, inducted as a member of the NWO, but I think him going in on his own is, in my opinion, I think it's more appropriate because he was much more than just a mouthpiece for the NWO. He ran WCW for a number of years, and WCW had their best years under Eric Bischoff, so he definitely deserves the recognition. We found out that Rhea Ripley is going to be making her Raw debut this coming week, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. That'll be a nice boost to the women's division. Be interesting to see how they work her in, what her first rivalry is going to be, and all that kind of fun stuff. The New Day, once again, is tag team champions. Won the titles from the Hurt Business on Monday Night Raw and were immediately challenged by AJ Styles and Omos. And so that match was confirmed for WrestleMania as well. Again, kind of out of left field. Nothing to really build towards it. It was just AJ and Omos came out, said we want a title shot at WrestleMania, and okay, there you go. So, the way WWE is announcing some of these matches is a little odd to me, but again, it is what it is. I think it's going to be a good match. It's going to be almost his in-ring debut as a wrestler. So, or at least on Raw, it's going to be, I should say. So, not a bad deal for him making your in-ring debut in a title match at WrestleMania. You can't ask for anything better than that. R-Truth once again is the 24/7 champion. The way that he got the title back was kind of funny. Bad Bunny's had the 24/7 title for a number of weeks, and so R-Truth basically, with last week being the week of Austin 316, he was going around Raw with a bunch of Stone Cold merchandise, and he basically traded all of his Stone Cold merchandise to Bad Bunny for the 24/7 title. So, got the title back in a trade. It was an entertaining little segment. And people are constantly bitching and moaning about the 24/7 title in general. I think the segments are entertaining, and that's obviously the point of them. It's not meant to be taken completely seriously, so I think it's become kind of a cool little spot during Monday Night Raw. So yeah, R-Truth once again the 24/7 champion. Later on in the show, talking about Bad Bunny, we saw The Miz attack Bad Bunny with Elias's guitar. This was after Damian Priest had defeated Elias in a match. And, so this I'm certain is all leading to a tag team match that's going to happen at WrestleMania. Damian Priest and Bad Bunny taking on The Miz and Morrison. They've been working towards this for a number of weeks, so I'm just waiting on, for them to make the official announcement. We saw another segment from Alexa Bliss. Probably the first time Alexa's been on Raw in recent memory that she hasn't made the 3 count for the week, but basically Alexa telling Randy Orton that if Randy wants her out of his life, he's going to have to quote-unquote take her out at Fastlane. And that actually was officially set as a match for Fastlane, is Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton. How that's going to work, I don't know. WWE's not huge on the intergender stuff. They'll do a couple of spots here and there, but to have an actual intergender match, I don't think is going to happen. This is going to be, I'm sure this is probably more setting up for the return of The Fiend, which is going to lead to a WrestleMania match between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, I'm sure. So, I'll definitely be interested to see how that's going to play out at Fastlane. We saw Matt Riddle pick up another win over Mustafa Ali. And I still am getting the impression that Retribution is going to be splitting sometime in the near future, with Ali kind of just jumping all over the members of Revolution anytime he loses or anytime one of them loses. So yeah, I'm looking for somebody in Retribution to just jump on Ali at some point. So we'll have to see how that's going to work out. I already talked about Asuka returning and jumping on Shayna. That was an awesome segment on Monday Night Raw. Moving on to NXT, we saw a promo right off the top of the show with Finn Balor and Karrion Kross, and this, of course, leading up to their eventual title match. And they were interrupted by Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, and Scarlett actually proposed a tag team championship match between Lorcan and Burch defending against Balor and Cross, which was set up for later on in the show. Saw another promo from Adam Cole talking about Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly appearing on the big screen. They're really building this rivalry up good. Later on in the show, we actually saw Cole and O'Reilly get arrested. Supposedly, Adam Cole left the building after the promo, and supposedly O'Reilly tried to run him off the road. We just saw him, outside the arena. Cops were there. O'Reilly getting loaded in the back of a cop car in handcuffs. So William Regal promises a solution to this issue next week on NXT. I'm sure this is going to lead to a match at the next NXT TakeOver during WrestleMania week. What type of match is yet to be seen, but just judging by NXT's history, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one is going to play out. Let's see, what else do we got going on in NXT? Jordan Devlin made his return to the NXT in the U.S. as well, and came face-to-face with Santos Escobar. Now, of course, both of these guys currently hold a version of the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Escobar came by that title at the beginning of the pandemic because Devlin obviously not able to travel from the UK back to the US to defend the title. So they crowned an interim champion in Santos Escobar. Looks like we're going to be getting a unification match coming up at TakeOver during WrestleMania week as well. So that should be a great match between those two guys. Jordan Devlin probably in my top 2 or 3 guys in NXT UK. So I cannot wait to see this one. We saw a video hyping the debut of Japanese superstar Sarai, and so she'll be making her debut in NXT in the coming weeks. Dakota Kai defeated Zoe Stark in just an awesome match. I am so impressed with what I've seen from Zoe Stark thus far. She's only been in NXT a short time, and she is killing it. She's getting some high profile matches, so obviously Triple H and the powers that be in NXT are very high on her because they're giving her some great opportunities to shine on NXT TV, and she is just killing it every time. So I mean, this one is probably a close second for match of the week. So if you haven't seen that one, Dakota Kai and Zoe Stark from NXT, check that one out. At the end of that match, Io Shirai made her way to the ring and brought a contract to Raquel Gonzalez for a women's championship match at TakeOver, which Gonzalez, of course, did sign. So we're gonna see that match. Tommaso Ciampa got a win over Marcel Bartel, and that's when we saw Walter make his return and just, like I said, just decimated Tommaso Ciampa. So hopefully that is leading to a match between those two guys. And then in the main event, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch retained the NXT Tag Team titles against Finn Balor and Karrion Kross. Apparently Danny Burch suffered a shoulder injury during that match. Karrion Kross hit a double suplex on both guys, Burch and Lorcan, and Burch just came down on his shoulder very, very hard, and by all accounts separated his shoulder. So hopefully he's not going to be out too long. Hopefully it's not something that's going to require surgery or anything like that. But Danny Burch looked like looks like he was injured in that match, but Lorcan and Burch did retain. Of course, we saw a lot of dissension on the side of Balor and Kross, which you would expect. Scarlett actually ended up getting knocked down in the course of the match, which kind of set Kross off, and he just went on a rampage after the match and just took out Balor and left him laying in the middle of the ring. Moving on to some NXT UK news. NXT UK is going to be having their own takeover during WrestleMania week called NXT UK Prelude, and that's going to be on April the 8th. So, yeah, WrestleMania week for WWE is just getting more and more packed. We found out we're going to get a match on NXT UK next week between Ilya Dragunov and Sam Gradwell. I can't wait for this one. This has probably been my favorite rivalry going on in NXT UK right now. So if you're not keeping up with NXT UK, go back and watch the last few episodes, specifically the parts with Ilya Dragunov. I think that's something that's one of the better things going on in NXT UK right now. We saw a vignette from Isla Dawn, and with her like reading tarot cards and things like that. It was very, very Scarlet-like, Scarlet Bordeaux, Karrion Kross's manager right now. So it definitely piqued my curiosity. So I'm interested to see where this is going to go. Then we had an in-ring promo from Walter saying he wants more competition. He's beaten everybody, and which that challenge, as it were, was answered by Rampage Brown, and it looks like that is going to be the main event of NXT UK TakeOver Prelude. So Walter versus Rampage Brown, yeah, give me that one. I want to see that match. That's going to be that's going to be brutal. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. If you have been following NXT UK, you know that the last several weeks Trent Seven has been trying to drop weight to make the cruiserweight division for a championship match against Jordan Devlin. He did make weight. That match took place this week. Again, this was another contender for match of the week, but Devlin was able to retain the Cruiserweight Championship in that match. Moving on to SmackDown for this week, Nia Jax had a title match against Sasha Banks, which, basically Shayna Baszler cost Nia the match. So we're starting to see some dissension between Shayna and Nia, which really isn't a surprise. They weren't real enthused about being partners to begin with, and but they have made a pretty good tag team up to this point, but I think we're going to see that split coming pretty soon. So I would expect to see them drop those women's tag team titles potentially tonight at Fastlane when they're taking on Sasha and Bianca Belair, which I don't think is ideal, but it is what it is. It's the WWE women's tag team titles. They have not done too much with them of note, so it is what it is. Seth Rollins came out, cut a promo on Cesaro, which brought out Shinsuke Nakamura, and Nakamura just basically attacked Rollins, took him out, and this set up a match for Fastlane coming up tonight. We saw another promo with Roman and Daniel Bryan hyping up their Fastlane match. Baron Corbin got a win over Sami Zayn, and at the end of that, Sami attacked Kevin Owens, which Sami had asked Owens to be out there to kind of, he's trying to prove to Kevin Owens his whole conspiracy theory that everybody's against him and all this kind of stuff. And when Owens basically said, well, I didn't see anything to make me think that, Sami went on the attack. So we're getting, Sami versus Kevin Owens again, which the two of them put on fantastic matches. I mean, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have been together in one way or another for years, whether it's tag team partners, rivals, whatever. We're talking, back to Ring of Honor days when Sami Zayn was known as El Generico. So, there's no such thing as a bad match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Had another video confrontation, I guess you could say, between Big E and Apollo Crews, hyping up their upcoming match, and ended up in a backstage brawl. Big E went on the hunt for Apollo, was able to find him, and just broke down into a fight. Edge picked up the win over Jey Uso, so he is going to be the ringside enforcer for Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns coming up tonight at Fastlane. And at the end of that match, Roman came out and just took out both Edge and Daniel Bryan, and so he was pretty much standing tall at the end of at the end of SmackDown. Moving into some AEW news, it was announced that Layla Hirsch has signed with AEW officially. And according to an interview I saw with her, she actually signed several months ago, but AEW held off on announcing it until now. Not sure why, but whatever. Layla, definitely a great signing for AEW. If you have not seen any of her matches, go check them out on AEW Dark. She is definitely somebody to watch. So she's one that I'm very anxious to see get involved in some more, some heavier storylines in the future. And yeah, this week was the debut of AEW Dark Elevation with Tony Schiavone and Paul White on the commentary, and there's new like stories and stars that are emerging from these. If you don't pay attention to AEW Dark, or if you didn't watch Elevation this past week, definitely check them out. I mean, it's on YouTube. Anybody can watch it. It's not like you got to hunt for it or anything. And it's not like you got to pay for it. And yes, some of the shows are very long because they have a lot of matches, because they showcase a lot of talent, both independent talent as well as some of the lesser known AEW stars, up and coming stars. That's the purpose of these shows, and they're doing a great job with them. And yes, like I said, they're long shows, but it's on YouTube. You can, it's not like watching live TV. You can skip ahead to to matches that interest you, or that with wrestlers that you want to check out. So I highly recommend checking out AEW Dark and Elevation. The Dark Order and SCU both continue to their winning streaks on AEW Dark. SCU's got to have a title match coming up sometime soon. Frankie Kazarian has been saying the next time SCU loses a match, they will disband as a tag team. And I said before, I think this is kind of leading to Christopher Daniels stepping away from the ring and taking on, he already has a backstage role with AEW. He's the head of their talent relations department, but I think this is kind of going to lead to his transition out of the ring into a full-time, backstage role as a coach and executive and things like that. Dark Order, as I said, also on a big winning streak on AEW Dark, so I'd expect to see, probably some heavier storylines with them as well. I mean, there's the one currently going on with Matt Hardy, so I'm sure that's going to continue. It looks like QT Marshall is actually turning on the Nightmare Family, and I'm curious as to whether or not Nick Comoroto is going to be joining him in his split from the Nightmare Family. QT just kind of been not helping out the other members of the Nightmare Family when they're having problems or getting ganged up on or things like that. Been very lackadaisical about that, about getting to the ring to help people and things like that. And the one person he seems to have a vested interest in is Nick Comoroto, which is definitely one you guys need to keep an eye on, because he's somebody who I think is going to be very prominent in AEW in the years to come. Another issue seems to be going on Dark is Peter Avalon, Ryan Nemeth, and Cesar Bononi with Jurassic Express. This is kind of an interesting storyline that's been going on, so another one I would suggest to check out. On Elevation this week, we saw a rare on-screen appearance from Tony Khan. This sprang from started with a backstage segment. The Sydal brothers were being interviewed. They were interrupted by Kenny Omega and Don Callis, which ended up in a challenge from Matt Sydal to Kenny Omega. And basically Omega said, well, if you can beat Michael Nakazawa, I'll give you a match with me, and if you beat me, you can have a title match. So kind of making him jump through some hoops. Well, Sydal did get the win versus Nakazawa. Omega came out immediately, jumped all over Sydal, said the match was starting right now. Picked up the quick win because Sydal had already had 2 matches. He and his brother had a tag team match earlier in the show. So this brought Tony Khan out, basically saying, no, you don't make these decisions, I do. You made the promise, so you're going to keep it. Next week, not this coming week, but next week on Dynamite, we're going to see Kenny Omega versus Matt Sydal. That should be a hell of a match with those two guys. And if Sydal wins, he gets a championship match against Kenny Omega. So I think that's pretty cool. Found out that Maki Ito is going back to Japan. Unfortunately, I think most fans were very impressed with, or very happy to see her on AEW between Dark and Dynamite and the pay-per-view and things like that. But she did make her way back to Japan this past week. Hopefully we will see her in AEW again. Speaking of Layla Hirsch, as I said earlier, she has signed a contract with AEW, and we saw a confrontation between her and Vicky Guerrero. this week. So could we potentially be seeing a rivalry develop between Layla Hirsch and Nyla Rose? That would be an interesting match. Just the size disparity there, because Layla Hirsch, not a very big girl, but she is, she kind of, if there was a female version of John Silver, not real big, but thick and strong, as JR would say, built like a fire plug or a fire hydrant. It's that would be Layla Hirsch. So I think her and Nyla Rose would be an interesting match, to say the least. We're starting to see some dissension among Team Taz. There was between Dark and also on Dynamite, but there was an interview going on with Sting and Darby Allin. Team Taz came out, and Brian Cage basically snatched the microphone away from Taz, saying Taz isn't going to talk for him this week, and showed some respect to Sting. Shook his hand and, saying he respects him, that Sting showed him a lot and things like that. And Taz and the rest of Team Taz, none too pleased about that. So we're starting to see a rift in Team Taz, so I'm interested to see where this is going to go. Also starting to see some cracks forming between Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss. They've been tag teaming for quite a while on AEW Dark, and they make an awesome tag team. Haven't gotten a whole lot of wins. They picked up another loss this week, and Joey Janela starting to show some frustration, and kind of bad-mouthing Sonny Kiss a little bit, getting on his case after the match. Joey did apologize afterwards, saying he's just frustrated, but I'm positive this is going to break down into a rivalry between Janela and Sonny Kiss at some point. So, again, I'm interested to see this one. Cody got the win over Pentagon during the opening match of AEW Dynamite, and of course afterwards Pentagon went on the attack. The Nightmare Family came out for the save, and again, QT Marshall late to the party, so the QT Marshall is definitely, I would say, splitting from the Nightmare Family at this point. Let's see, we saw an in-ring segment with MJF and his new faction, which is known as the Pinnacle, and I'm loving this group. MJF, Shawn Spears, FTR, Wardlow, and Tully Blanchard. And obviously they're going to be having a program with the Inner Circle. Can't wait to see what matches are going to spring out of this. Moxley and Kingston got a win over the Good Brothers. Omega and Callis, of course, came out after the match and quote-unquote Pillmanized Eddie Kingston. Broke his ankle or put his ankle in the chair, stomped on the chair, so we'll have to see if it's going to be, if Kingston's going to be out for a while, or, how that's going to work. But then they tried to do the same thing to Moxley, putting the chair on his neck, and the Young Bucks actually came out and put a stop to it and walked away from Omega and Callis. They were putting up the too sweet, wanting to, show the solidarity or whatever, and Bucks just walked away. So we're going to see a match between the Bucks and the Good Brothers at some point. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen and how the storyline's going to play out. So I cannot wait for this one. Talked about the Sting promo a little while ago. While that was going on, Darby Allin issued an open challenge to the Dark Order. Basically in honor of Brody Lee, saying that Brody Lee was the best TNT champion so far for AEW, and Darby not happy about not having too many title defenses since he won the championship. So I like the way they played that, because there's been a lot of bitching and moaning online. Oh, they're not defending the TNT title and blah blah blah. So I think Darby saying that actually he is frustrated with not having title defenses because he wants to be a fighting champion is a good way to play that. And he put out an open challenge to any member of the Dark Order for the TNT championship, and that was accepted by John Silver. So that I think John Silver and Darby Allin, I'm good with that. Miro and Kip Sabian have accepted the what I'm calling the arcade match against Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy, so that should be interesting. They're going to have arcade machines set up around the ring that can be used basically as weapons to throw your opponents into. So to my knowledge, it's the first of its kind, so I'm curious to see how that's going to work. And then we finally heard from Christian Cage in a backstage promo. Says he's the he's the workhorse now of AEW. He wants Kenny Omega's spot, and wants to cement his legacy. So yeah, Christian Cage going after Kenny Omega. That's the spot that he wants. So, and that's another match that I'm definitely looking forward to. Moving on to some Impact news, the Good Brothers want a rematch with FinJuice for the Impact Championships. Of course, FinJuice took those titles off the Good Brothers just last week. And FinJuice basically said, well, you know what? You got to wait till April because we're going back to Japan. So Good Brothers not happy about that, but that is going to happen at the Rebellion pay-per-view coming up in April. So, yeah, some interesting interpromotional matches coming up at Rebellion. Good Brothers against FinJuice again, and Omega versus Swans is what we know so far. So Rebellion shaping up to be a pretty good pay-per-view. Some MLW news, Los Parks retained the MLW tag team titles against Injustice and Contra Unit. Very, very good triple threat tag team match. So if you're not keeping up with MLW on YouTube or any of the other platforms that they're on, I mean, they're all over the place. So there's no reason not to check it out. MLW has some very, very good talent, and their in-ring product is fantastic. So I highly recommend checking out MLW. Just a small Ring of Honor tidbit. The Ring of Honor 19th anniversary show is coming up this Friday on the 26th. So I'll have a preview of that coming up in a little bit here. Some New Japan news. The New Japan Cup final is set. Will Ospreay taking on Takagi. That should be an interesting match. And a little bit of NWA news here. The Back for the Attack pay-per-view, which is also taking place tonight. Billy Corgan announced that this is dedicated to Josephus, Joseph Hudson, who passed away a couple weeks ago. So very, very cool, classy move on the part of Billy Corgan. Josephus was a big part of the NWA revival. So, yeah, so that's going to do it for news and rumors and everything for the week. So let's get into the previews and predictions for all the pay-per-views coming up this next week, starting with NWA Back for the Attack. Trevor Murdoch going to be defending the NWA National Championship against Chris Adonis, or formerly known as Chris Masters in WWE. Yeah, I'm going to say Murdoch's going to retain. I'm going to say, Murdoch will hold on to the NWA National Championship. We've got Tyrus, formerly known as Brodus Clay in WWE, making his debut against JR Kratos, who is one half of the tag team champions. I would expect Tyrus most likely to pick up the win in his NWA debut. Elijah Burke defending the NWA World TV Championship against Tom Latimer. Yeah, this one's hard to call. I think Latimer may end up taking the TV title and adding another championship to that faction with because Latimer, of course, part of the faction with Nick Aldis, the NWA World Champion. In a women's match, we got Thunder Rosa taking on Camille in a match to determine the number one contender for the NWA World Women's Championship. I think Thunder Rosa pulls this one out. But that, Thunder Rosa and Camille, damn, that's going to be a hard-hitting match between those two women, so I can't wait to see it. Then we've got a four-way match between Crimson, Jax Dane, Jordan Clearwater, and Slice Boogie. You know what? I really can't make a prediction in this one because Jordan Clearwater and Slice Boogie are not guys that I am familiar with. So wouldn't really be fair to try to make a prediction. I'm familiar with Crimson and Jax Dane, but I'm curious to see how. I'm curious to see this match. I always like checking out new guys, or not necessarily new guys, but guys that I'm not familiar with. So just because I don't know who they are doesn't mean they're brand new. It just means I haven't seen them. So yeah, it's probably, I would expect a good match. I mean, the NWA under Billy Corgan seems to be all about the in-ring work, and yeah, I don't think I've seen a bad NWA match since Billy Corgan took it over. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be a good one as well. And then the main event, Nick Aldis defending the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Aaron Stevens. This again coming out of Billy Corgan saying that the pay-per-view is dedicated to Josephus. Josephus and Aaron Stevens, of course, were partners, and when Josephus was known as the Question Mark. So this kind of in honor of Josephus, this match was put together. Yeah, again, hard to pick a winner, but I would say probably Nick Aldis. He has had that title forever, it seems like, and I don't see him losing it anytime soon. So let's move on to the Ring of Honor 19th anniversary show coming up next Friday, the 26th. Shane Taylor Promotions defending the World Six-Man Tag Team Championships against the Mexa Squad, Bandito, Flamita, and Ray Horace, who Shane Taylor Promotions originally defeated for those titles. I'm going to say Shane Taylor Promotions is going to hold on to the six-man titles. Then we've got a four-corner survival match. Brian Johnson, Danhausen, Eli Isom, and LSG. I'm picking Danhausen. I love Danhausen. He's freaking awesome. If you have not seen any of Danhausen's matches, check it out. He's entertaining as hell. Follow him on Twitter. Definitely follow the guy on Twitter, because some of the stuff he puts out there is just outrageous and hilarious, and it's great. We've got EC3 versus Jay Briscoe in a grudge match that's been building for a number of months. Was supposed to take place a while back, but EC3 wasn't able to compete due to COVID-19. So we're finally getting this match between these two guys. You know what? I'm going to pick Jay Briscoe in this one. Just a feeling I got. Dragon Lee defending the ROH TV title against Tracy Williams. I'm going to pick Dragon Lee to hold on to it. In a Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship match, La Facción Ingobernable, Dragon Lee and Kenny King, the champions, defending against the Foundation team of Rhett Titus and Tracy Williams. This match is very interesting to me, because Kenny King and Rhett Titus were tag team partners for a very long time in Ring of Honor a number of years ago. So I'm curious to see, how that's going to play into this. But I'm gonna pick LFI to retain the tag team titles in this one. They just won those titles a couple weeks ago on ROH TV. I've got Matt Taven taking on Vincent in an unsanctioned match. This is just going to be violent, and seeing what Matt Taven and Mike Bennett did to Bateman just a couple weeks ago, I'm gonna pick Matt Taven in this one to get the victory over Vincent. Then we've got Mark Briscoe taking on Flip Gordon. Interesting matchup here. I'm gonna pick Mark Briscoe over Flip, which I love Flip Gordon. He's one that was a big part of being the Elite for so long. I honestly expected to see him show up in AEW, and he still with Ring of Honor, but this, I think, is going to be a very good match, but I'm picking Mark Briscoe to get the victory here. In a Pure Rules match, Dalton Castle taking on Josh Woods. I love the ROH Pure division. I love Pure Rules matches. Some of the best mat wrestling you're going to see anywhere. In this particular one, I'm going to pick Josh Woods. He's going to have Silas Young at ringside with him. So it wouldn't surprise me to see some shenanigans going on, but I'm picking Josh Woods to get the win over Dalton Castle. For the ROH Pure Championship, Jonathan Gresham defending against Dak Draper. I'm picking Gresham. Gresham is my guy. Gresham is probably in my top 2 or 3 favorites right now in the world as far as wrestlers go, and I put him at the top as far as best wrestler in the world right now. He, in my opinion, is the best mat wrestler, technical wrestler in the world at the moment. And then for the ROH World Championship, Roosh defending against Jay Lethal. As much as I want Jay Lethal to win this match, I'm pretty sure Roosh is going to retain the championship, especially if we see LFI getting involved here. So yeah, I'm going with Roosh to retain against Jay Lethal. Let's move on to the big event coming up tonight, WWE Fastlane. Starting off with a tag team match for the women's tag team title I talked about a little while ago. Nia and Shayna taking on Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. I'm picking Banks and Belair to win the women's tag team championships in this one. Because, like I said, I think we're going to see that rivalry develop with Shayna and Asuka. And I think in order to move forward with that, you need to take the tag team titles off of Shayna and Nia. And then, so possibly, not possibly, I think it's pretty obvious at this point. If they go any other direction, it'd be kind of weird. But most likely we're going to see Shayna Baszler and Asuka at WrestleMania, which I would love to see that match. So hopefully we get it. Big E defending the Intercontinental Championship against Apollo Crews. you know what? I can't. I got a feeling Apollo may win this. Apollo's been getting a pretty good push since his heel turn, so there's been a pretty good response for the most part, and he's been doing well with his promos and all that kind of stuff. And the matches with him and Big E that they've had have been very, very good. So yeah, I think it's time to pull the trigger on Apollo and give him a title run here. No holds barred match between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. I don't care who wins this match. I just want to see these two crazy bastards beat the hell out of each other. So that is my early contender for match of the week for next week. Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Seth Rollins. I want Nakamura to win this match, but I have a feeling Seth Rollins is going to be the one to pick up the victory. Matt Riddle defending the U.S. title against Mustafa Ali. I think they should put the title on Ali just to, if they're trying to boost Retribution, I think now would be the time to put a title on him, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Riddle's going to retain, and this is where we're going to see more of a rift form in Retribution. I don't know if we're going to see anybody from Retribution turn on Ali tonight, but I think this is just kind of going to sow more seeds of dissension among Retribution. And then for the Universal Championship, Roman Reigns defending against Daniel Bryan with Edge as a special guest enforcer. I think it's pretty obvious Roman is going to retain. I mean, it's going to be Roman versus Edge at WrestleMania. It would be a huge swerve if Daniel Bryan were to pick up the title tonight, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. I'd love to see Daniel Bryan as champion again. I just don't think WWE is going to go that route. I think Roman's going to retain. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of stuff going on between Edge being there. Jey Uso's going to be there. Still waiting for the return of Jimmy Uso. I'm wondering when we're going to see that, or if we're going to see that before WrestleMania, or if they're going to hold off until afterwards. So I'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so that's my preview and predictions for WWE Fastlane. And getting into a little bit of miscellaneous news here, we found out this past week Kylie Rae is coming back. She's going to be making her return to the ring at Warrior Wrestling, defending her Warrior Women's Championship against Thunder Rosa on the first night of their Stadium Series on June 5th. And I could not be happier with this news. Kylie Rae, I think everybody knows by now, one of my absolute favorite wrestlers in the world, one of my absolute favorite people that I've ever met. She's just awesome in every way imaginable. So really cool to hear that she's going to be making her return to the ring at Warrior Wrestling. I cannot wait to see this match. I can't wait to call this match because, of course, me and Charlie G, we do the audio play-by-play at every Warrior Wrestling event. This will be no different. It's the Warrior Stadium Series for this summer, starting on June 5th is night one, and this is going to be the main event for the first night. So I cannot wait to be there. I can't wait to call the match. I've already scheduled the live stream on Podbean, so head over there, reserve your spot. And if you can't be there in person, you can't watch it on Fight TV, listen to me and Charlie G calling all the action live from Warrior Wrestling. So talking about Charlie G, I'm going to throw it over to him right now. He is here with your Indie Cut.
Thank you, Tom, and hey to wrestling friends. I am Charlie G with this week's Indie Cup. There was a lot of wrestling action last weekend, so let's begin with Friday, March 12th, and Super Kicked Unlisted Episode 22 from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. That show is on YouTube, so look up Super Kick apostrophe D if you'd like to see that. We go down to River City Championship Wrestling, March Madness 2021 from La Crosse, Wisconsin. They had a March Madness tournament, and the final match was Brock Hall defeating Kyle Roberts. And for the RCCW City La Crosse title, champion Jason Masters defeated champion JDX to become new champion. To Alternative Pro Wrestling from Royston, Georgia. For the APW North Georgia title, champion Caleb Crocker defeated Jeremy Vane. And for the vacant APW Southern States title in a tournament final match, Scott Mason defeated James Boulevard. On to Saturday, March 13th. Here we go. Here comes a lot of wrestling, people. March 13th, Melbourne City Wrestling Ballroom Brawl 2021 from Thornbury, Victoria, Australia. So you are now on the map. And a map over there if you like. For the MCW tag titles, champions Mitch Waterman and Nick Beery defeated Jude London and Paris De Silva. For the number one contendership, for the tag titles, Stevie Phillip and Tom Phillip defeated Jet Raka and Tyson Baxter. Slex defeated Mick Moriarty, so Slex is still in Australia. For the Australian Wrestling Legends contract match, Lochi Hendricks defeated Cracker Jack. And in a 21-man ballroom brawl match, Mitch Waterman won that. Over to Total Team Attack 3 from Tokyo, Japan. For the CCW Canadian Heavyweight title, Kohei Kinoshita defeated champion Sunsuke Sayama to become new champion. To Stardom New Century 2021 in Shinkawa. A great show. We started with Azumi defeating Lady C and Saya Kamatani. Himeka and Maika defeated Gokigen Death and Hanan. 6-woman tag was Mina Shirakawa, Tam Nakano, and Unagi Sayaka defeating Julia, Natsupoi, and Siri. Oh, my fault. It wasn't a defeat. It was a 15-minute draw. Really good match. Another tag match, B. Priestley and Konami defeated Momo Watanabe and Utami Hayashita. And the main event was Natsuka Tora, Ruaka, and Saki Kashima defeating Mayu Iwatani, Saya Ida, and Starlight Kid in a awesome match. Wrestling Theology Fellowship, he's back from Carmel, Indiana for the WTF United States title. Champion Paragon defeated Jake Carter by DQ. I wish I would have looked up Jake Carter to see if it's the same Jake Carter from NXT back in the day. Then we go to the WTF title match of Calvin Tankman defeating champion Jeremy Hadley by DQ, so no title change there. Over to WrestleMerica March Madness 2021 from Barnesville, Georgia, in a brass knuckles match. David Ali defeated Fried Daddy, and for the WrestleMerica heavyweight title, champion Mike Payne defeated Bosworth. Up to Wisconsin Pro Wrestling Conflict from DePere, Wisconsin. Cujo defeated Garrison Creed, my buddy from Warrior Wrestling. For the WPW Titletown title match, champion Aaron Arsenal defeated Johnny CK. And for the Frontline Pro King of the Cruiserweight title, champion Gavin McCoy defeated Rockin' Rivera. Over to United Wrestling Entertainment from Oklahoma. Let's go there. For the UWE title, champion John Cross defeated Mr. Nasty by DQ. And for the UWE number one contendership match, Derek James defeated Anarchy. Titan Championship Wrestling Free For All 2 from Claremont, Delaware. For the TCW Goddess title, champion Vicious Vicky defeated Danny Gray. For the Hardcore title, champion Waylon Cage defeated Tyler Klein. And for the Heavyweight title, champion Steve Mack defeated Anthony Bennett. Down to Southern Violence and Wrestling Rumors of War from Athens, Georgia, on the Fight Network. For the SVW Hoss Fight title, champion Austin Towers defeated Big Smooth. I think that's right. To Sean Henderson Presents Money Longer, where he did not appear for some reason. So this is in Williamstown, New Jersey. In a Four Corners of Fun match, Declan Grant defeated Low Life Louie. In a street fight, Dylan McKay defeated Jimmy Lloyd. And in a singles match, G. Raver defeated Boomer Hatfield. to Peach State Wrestling Alliance from Carrollton, Georgia. For the PWA No Limits title, champion Trevor Ayon defeated Spy Ray. There was a New York Wrestling Connection Heart and Soul Cup Tournament number 9 on the YouTube, so check out those 2 matches there. Metroplex Wrestling Uncivil War from Bedford, Texas. For the Metroplex Prospects title, champion Joe Angelo Garcia defeated Mr. Legs. Down to IWA Mid-South. Mid-South It's a Mystery from Connorsville, Indiana. In a barbed wire thumbtack Madness death match, Ricky Shane Page defeated Mance Warner. That'd be awesome. In a IWA Mid-South Heavyweight title Taipei death match, champion Jay Chris defeated Aaron Williams. That had to be insane. And in a Fans Bring the Weapons 3-way elimination death match, Eric Ryan defeated Dewey Wellington and John Wayne Murdoch. Figured give you some deathmatch fans some info there. Down to Independent Wrestling Expo number 3 from Fort Worth, Texas, on the Title Match Network of all places. So for the new Texas Pro title, champion Mysterious Q defeated Franco Varga. For the flyweight tournament first round matches, Will Allday defeated Warren J. Trey Lamar defeated Chandler Hopkins. Ninja Mac defeated Morte Inferno. And Ryan Reed defeated Fuego del Sol. So Fuego even gets some matches outside of Dark. Nice to see. And then in the semifinals is Will Allday defeating Trey Lamar. And Ryan Reed defeating Ninja Mac. There was a match between Killer Kate defeating Maya Friday. For the Pale Pro title, champion Sam Adonis, yes, he's a champion somewhere in the States, defeated Madman Fulton, and Ace Austin defeated Curry Wright. And then for the flyweight tournament final match, Myron Reed defeated Will Allday. So that had to be a cool show to watch. To Horror Slam Wrestling, Horror Slam Biohazard, in a battle royal, the winner was Frank Isaac Anderson. This took place in Rockwood, Michigan, of all places. And then for the Horror Slam heavyweight title number contendership match, Tommy Vendetta defeated Malcolm Monroe III and Atlas Hightower. And then later that day, they had Horror Slam Death Proof show. And for the Horror Slam Deathmatch title Legos Deathmatch, champion Chuck Stein defeated Matthias Thrasher. And for the Horror Slam heavyweight title, Tommy Vendetta defeated champion Briar Wellington to become new champion. Over to All Pro Championship Wrestling, March Madness 2021 from Douglasville, Georgia. Everyone's using March Madness. Come on, get original, people. For the APCW tag titles, champions Bryce Cannon and Zach Mosley defeated Cousin Cletus and Cousin Shaggy. Sorry, Cousin. And then for the APCW title, Damian Bennett defeated champion London Hale by DQ. So no championship turnover there. On to Sunday, March 14th. And Rev Pro and Epic Encounters number 9 on YouTube and Twitch. So check that out as you wish. Chris Ridgway defeated JJ Gale. Aaliyah James and Kanji defeated Bobby Tyler and Zoe Lucas. In a SWE World Heavyweight Title Tournament match, Ricky Knight Jr. defeated Screwface Ahmed. Well, I really did not watch the show. In another bracket match, Dan Maloney defeated Charlie Sterling. For the Red Pro Undisputed British Women's title, champion Jamie Hayter defeated and took on Sky Smithson in a double countout. So that's a little disappointing there. And for the Red Pro Undisputed British Cruiserweight title, champion Michael Oku defeated Kid Lycos II. Really should check that match out, huh? Pro Wrestling Wave, White Wave 2021 from Tokyo, Japan. Where Atsuki Oki and Rin Katakura defeated Mio Momono, and Sakura Hirota, sorry about that. To Stardom, New Century, and Shinjuku. Another great show. Azumi defeated Lady C. Tag match, Julia and Siri, who look like they're ready to rap, defeated Hanan and Saida. And the tag match, B. Priestley and Konami defeated Momo Watanabe and Saya Kamatani. And a 6-1 tag, Natsuka Tora, Ruaka, and Saki Kashima defeated Gokigen Death, Mayu Iwatani, and Starlight Kid. Stars can't catch a break. And a 3-way match, Natsupoi defeated Tam Nakano and Utami Hayashita. That was an interesting match, and Natsupoi was kind of knocked silly and still did a promo, so it was a little cringeworthy to watch, but at least she won. And it got us a Stardom title match. Champions Himeka and Maika defeated Mina Shirakawa and Unagi Sayaka. Really cool match there. Pure J had a show with their Spring Turtle League Dream Block matches and Rainbow Block matches. Noah Great Voyage 2021. I watched some of this. I wish I got to see the end of this show, but for the GHC Junior Heavyweight title, Otsushi Koteji defeated champion Seikia Yoshiyaka to become the champion. And for the GHC Heavyweight title, champion Kenji Muto defeated Kaito Kiyomiya. I've heard that's a bit of an upset there, since why is Muto still having the title? That's Muto. On to New Japan Tag League, New Japan Cup Day 8. Second round matches were Sonata defeating Uji Nagata and Will Ospreay defeating Zack Sabre Jr. Those two matches are really good to watch, so check those out if you feel like it. I know the finals tonight, so it's kind of anticlimactic. I'm sorry. Gotta Move Choco Pro 96 took place on YouTube. Dragon Gate Glorious Gate Day 5 took place. DDT Daydream Believer 2021. This was an interesting show. We start with DDT Iron Man Heavy Metal title 6-man tag match. Didn't know it could be held in a tag match, but still kind of funny nonetheless. So Danshiko Dino, Kaigo Nakamura, and the Young Bucks Killing the Business from the Backers to the Big Leagues book defeated champion Lip Hip Shake book. Saki Akai's photo book Lip Hip Shake, who was champion, Antonio Honda and Saki Akai. And then quickly then after, since Keigo Nakamura was the champion, Saki Akai defeated him to become the new DDT Iron Man Heavy Metal title. Winner, championship holder. You know what I'm saying. Sorry, friends. This is a little out of it today. But Saki Akai is a champion nonetheless, not the book. In a DDT Extreme title barbed wire casket death match. Yes, casket death match. Interesting match. I actually kind of enjoyed this match. Chris Brooks defeated champion Shunma Katsumata as he was put into a casket. And then nailed shut by Chris. So a little dirty play on Chris there, I must say. But still, cool match nonetheless. For the KO'd 6-man tag titles, Soma Takao, Tatsuya Endo, and Yuji Hino defeated champions Akito Kazuki and Kuzuki Hirata and Shota to become the champion. Title changes there. And for the DDT Universal title, champion Yuki Ino defeated Usaka Okada. Really good match there. All Japan Pro Wrestling Dream Power Series Day 3 took place. Kenta Miyahara and Uma Ayagi retained their world titles there. And a 2AW Butterfly Dance Show for the World Women Pro Wrestling Diana Tag Titles. Champions Ayami Sasamure and Rina Singaki defeated Ayaka, Sato, and Madeline. If we can get that in, since Rena's been in AEW a little bit. Back here in the States for All Star Pro Wrestling from Bethlehem, Oklahoma. For the ASP tag titles, Derek James and Warren Powers defeated champions PHOX 1 and 2 to become the champions. For the 5-star title, champion Johnny Cove defeated Angel Camacho. And in Mexico, IWRG had a show. Not quite as interesting as I was hoping for, but still got to see it nonetheless. Check that out. Lucha Plus on YouTube if you'd like to try and find that. On to Monday, March 15th. New Japan Cup Day 9. Second round matches. David Finlay defeated Yoshihashi, and Jay White defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi to advance. Really, that was a pretty good match there. Got to move Chaka Pro 97 took place on YouTube. And then the Kliga Pro Nights are back on YouTube. I'll talk about a couple of those later on. Moving to Tuesday, March 16th, New Japan Cup Day 10. Quarterfinal matches. Evil defeated Toru Yano, and Shingo Takagi defeated Kenta. That was actually a very long match between those two. So Kliga Pro's back, and then the Strong Hearts were in action. Check that out on YouTube. Ohio Valley Wrestling from Louisville, Kentucky. TV show 1127. For the OVW National Heavyweight Title, number one contendership match, Lucius Lawrence defeated Brandon Tate. New Northeast Wrestling Studio Wars number 10 from Connecticut on the Hot Spots Network. For the live title, champion Brad Hollister defeated Mike Gamble. For New South Pro Wrestling Action Class 27 from Haynesville, Alabama, on IWTV stream, Daniel Perez defeated Johnny Swinger. So Johnny even got a match. Wow, all right. Can't do anything on Impact. We can get a New South Pro Wrestling match. To Heavy Metal Wrestling Texas Grand Prix Week 20 on IWTV. ACH defeated Johnny Bedlam, and Jay Sirius defeated Mr. Iguana. So Mr. Iguana was in Alabama on Tuesday, and he was making his way up to the Chicagoland area for a Lucha Galley show tonight, which is for March 20th. Sorry, I don't do the Lucha Galley shows because I don't get the results and I don't get to see it, but I'm sure Mr. Iguana, Torres, El Macias will have a great show. On to Wednesday, March 17th, and Seedling Grow Together. There was a Get a Dream tournament first round match. They had tournament matches, and the final match was Haruo Hana and Riko Kawahara defeating Chikara Nagashima and Tsukushi Hiraka. Sorry about those names. And then in the Seedling Beyond the Sea title match, which was vacant, Asuka defeated Rina Yamashita to become new champion there. So the other Asuka, who we got to see on AEW a bit, is a champion. Congrats to her. On to Actress Girls Colors show. For the Colors title, Saki defeated champion Millie to become new champion. And then Cookie then after defended it against Waka Tsukiyama. Alright. Kligo Pro had Strong Hearts in action once again. And then Paradigm Pro Wrestling from Jeffersonville, Indiana. No Hook number 6 on IWTV. Flash Thompson and Sam Beal, so nice to see him back in action, defeated Chris Copeland and Jack Andrews in a Ken Broadway's title chain match. Champion Ken Broadway defeated Kayla Cassidy. And then in another title chain match, Jody the Wrestler defeated champion Ken Broadway to become new champion. In a PPW title match, champion Myron Reed defeated Miles Morales. And in a loser leaves town match, Sandra Moon defeated Nolan Edward. Over to Limitless Wrestling, The Road, Season 3, Episode 4, on IWTV. Conor Murphy defeated Love Doug, and Divine defeated Alec Price. On to Thursday, March 18th, and Deathmatch Down Under, Smashing Sandcastles from Carlton, Victoria, Australia. Actually on IWTV, so check those out if you can. These are some for the Caribbean Spiders Web and Pit of Tax Deathmatch. Mad Doug defeated Fox. They had a DMDU tag title tournament for some matches. Robbie Eagles defeated Mark Davis, so Robbie Eagles is stuck in Australia. In a Bring Your Own Boards and Cinderblocks Death tag match, Callan Butcher and Vixen defeated Guido and York. Excuse me. And in a Last Drinks Death match, Charlie Evans defeated Joel Bateman. You got me there. I'm sorry. I didn't get to see it. Sorry. New Japan Cup, Day 11. Quarterfinal matches of David Finlay in an upset defeating Jay White. And in quarterfinal match, Will Ospreay defeating Sonata. Solid match between those two. Kalinka Pro Stars Night, where all the strong hearts of El Lindemann, T-Hawk, and Shima were all in action. So check that out. Pro Wrestling Vision from Orlando, Florida, on Twitch TV somewhere. I still can't find the channel. Sorry about that. But Team Vision Dojo Rookie title match. Jason Orion defeated champion Tone Huro to become the champion. And for the AWA Florida tag title match, champions Adam Vale and Bryant Atomic defeated Nick Jonas and Ruiz by DQ. In Enjoy Wrestling Canned Heat number 4 on YouTube. Solo Darling and Willow Nightingale defeated Sean Phoenix and Ziggy Ham. And Enjoy the Cup title final match, Lee Moriarty defeated MV Young to become champion. So Lee's really racking up all the titles around the place, so nice to see that. To Beyond Wrestling, the Signature Series number 4, from Williamstown, New Jersey. Richard Holiday defeated Megabyte Ronnie. So nice to see him get some other action outside of AEW Dark. And the tournament for tomorrow, first round match, Solo Darling and Willow Nightingale defeated Mike Verna and Rex Lawless. And in the round robin great challenge match, Chris Dickinson defeated Wheeler Yuta to get his first 2 points. On to Friday, March 19th. Westside Extreme Wrestling, We Love Wrestling number 5 was back in action. I'll go with WXW Shotgun title. Champion Norman Harras defeated Fast Time Mundo by referee's decision. Dragon Gate Glorious Gate Day 6. Ultimate Dragon won his 6-man match. And then they had a 12-man Royal Sambo Battle Royal, where HYO won that. Kaliga Pros on YouTube. No strong hearts in those matches. Limitless Wrestling Double Vision, a pay-per-view from Maine on IWTV. Alec Price defeated Myron Reed in a triple threat match. Kevin Blackbird defeated Charles Mason and Ken Broadway. Becca defeated Ashley Vox. Ava Everett was back in action, defeating Divine. And for Limitless Wrestling World Title, Daniel Garcia defeated champion Kristen Casanova. We kind of all probably saw that coming, since Kristen Casanova is part of the WWE Performance Center right now. So I don't think they want to have another vacancy of the title. So Daniel Garcia is champion there. To National Wrestling Championship Season 2 from Chile. That's actually on YouTube, so check out those 2 matches there. 2 title matches, in fact. I won't get into those since I'm bad with those names. Sorry about that, but check out CNL Wrestling on YouTube. Over to the Unified Wrestling from Oklahoma. from Midwest City, Oklahoma. They had a show. New Japan Strong 32. Jeff Cobb defeated Alex Coughlin. And in the New Japan Cup qualifying matches, Ren and Rita, defeated Mysterioso. And Brody King defeated Bateman. So Bateman's available to walk right now, I guess, in New Japan and not in Ring of Honor. On to earlier today, Saturday, March 20th. Riot City Wrestling Super Clash number 3 from Adelaide, Australia. For RCW tag titles, champions Eli Thesis and Gabriel Eros defeated Adam Brooks and Antivirus. For the King of the Fringe Gauntlet match, Mike Boomer won that. For the RCW title, Matt Hayter defeated champion Rocky Monero to become the champion there. Then a little New Japan Cup Day 12. Right before the semifinal matches, there was an earthquake. I'm sure Tom might have mentioned that in his part, but during a six-man match between Hiroshi Tanahashi, Okada, and Ibushi, who then defeated Jay White, Kenta, and Yujiro Takahashi, there was a 20-minute delay because of an earthquake nearby. Everyone was fine. This is in Sendai, so they're a little worried around there. So hopefully all goes well tonight. The show is at midnight Chicago time. I'm going to stay up as much as I can for that, even though I'm already sleepy. Don't ask me why. It's just not a great week. So the semifinal matches. So it's Will Ospreay defeated David Finlay, and Shingo Takagi defeated Evil. So the final match for New Japan is Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi. That should be a pretty good banger of a match. Pure J had a show, Fight Together 2021. Princess of Pro Wrestling title, champion Akira defeated Manami. And for the Pure J Openweight title, spoiler alert, Kari Yoneyama defeated champion Leon to become new champion. I don't know who watches all Pure J to see if they saw it or not, but spoiler alert, Kari Yoneyama, or Gokigen Death, as most of us know, is champion. So congrats to her. Ice Ribbon 1105 took place. God Approved Chaka Pro number 98 took place on YouTube. Dragon Gate Glorious Gate Day 7. Where Ultimo Dragon won yet again in a six-man. Oh, no, it went to a no contest in a six-man action. Actress Girls show took place. And Kliga Pro also took place. Little indie news. Our local promotion AAW is returning to action April 3rd, live and free on Twitch, with the first half of their tapings. So yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of dates set up, and they're going to be taping stuff for the Twitch stream. It's free, no ticket info at the moment. So check out AAW Pro on Twitch, and look up their Twitters to keep up to date with ticket availability or where the shows will be at to see if you can get in. You never know. Illinois is kind of relaxing some of their COVID issues, so they have a lot of dates to tape. So they're going to try and put out shows for us. So that's nice to see. And then finally, if anyone's watching on YouTube, you have noticed Retromania News is finally available March 23rd for Xbox One. So maybe next week I will give you a gameplay review. I've been waiting to play this since last year, so hopefully I get it on time and get to play it for you guys. So that's a wrap for me. Till next time with more shows from around the wrestling world. Don't forget to look up those Twitch streams, our Twitch friends, DJ Yancey, Get the Tables, Styles Variants, and WrestleCast Radio. Check out those YouTube channels for other wrestling content. Thank you for watching or listening. Hope you enjoyed the cut. Keep safe, take care, get some rest, and be kind, everyone. Back to you, Tom.
All right, thank you, Charlie. So let's keep rolling right along into the next segment here, where I am playing armchair promoter with my CHS Wrestling Fantasy League, as it were, and that is taking place in the Fantasy Booker. All right, so this week we are crowning the first CHS Wrestling Women's World Champion. And in case you forgot, the match that is happening in, I am calling a 10-woman elimination scramble tag team match. Again, overly complicated name for a fairly simple concept. 2 women start in the ring, and with 2 women in each of the 4 corners, so there's 10 women. And yeah, it's, one-on-one. Anybody can tag anybody. It's every woman for themselves. And elimination is by pinfall, submission, DQ, or count out. The last woman standing after everybody's been eliminated is the women's champion. And let's run down my 10-woman roster for CHS Wrestling here. We've got Bianca Belair, Shotzi Blackheart, Abaddon, Rosemary, Jordan Grace, Tessa Blanchard, Anna Jay, Ember Moon, Chris Statlander, and Sue Young. And yeah, I mean, just some of the potential matchups in this one, like Rosemary versus Abaddon, or Shotzi Blackheart versus Chris Statlander, is one that I'd be very interested to see happen. Or Tessa Blanchard versus Bianca Belair. My God, that match would be amazing. But in the end, with this one, I think just based on history and performances and talent and just all around everything, I would have to give this match to Tessa Blanchard as the first ever CHS Women's World Champion. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up that my little fantasy league here. I'm not gonna continue booking like weekly shows and matches and stuff like that. I think it would just it would get I don't know, it would kind of get overly complicated after a while just doing that and trying to make a fantasy card every week. So but yeah, the CHS Wrestling idea, I think some of the matches that I came up with were kind of cool concepts. Wouldn't mind seeing them actually take place at some point somewhere. I think it'd be kind of cool. But yeah, so hope you guys have enjoyed this. I'll definitely have a different thing going on with the fantasy booker starting next week. I honestly don't have a plan in place for it yet, so we'll see what happens. So let's keep moving into the final segment of the show, where I've been counting down my top 10 WrestleMania matches of all time, and I'm doing that in the weekly hot take. So we are up to number 4 on my top 10 WrestleMania matches of all time. And this week we are going with a match from WrestleMania 12 in 1996. It is the Iron Man match between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Yeah, I mean, God, what can I say about this match that hasn't been said already? As far as just a straight up classic wrestling match, you're not going to find too many better than this. 60 minutes. No pinfalls or anything for that 60 minutes. Went into overtime or sudden death, whatever you want to call it. And Shawn Michaels ended up coming out on top and winning his first WWF championship. And, just like I said, you're not going to find too many better wrestling matches than this one. Both of these guys stepped up and showed exactly what they're capable of. And, I mean, just an all-around fantastic match. So, yeah, that is my number 4 WrestleMania match of all time. Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart, Iron Man match from WrestleMania 12, 1996. If you haven't seen this match, why not? Go back and check it out, please. So, yeah, it's definitely, like I said, one of my all-time favorite matches. So, if you haven't seen it, or if you haven't seen it in a while, go back and watch it. Fantastic match between these two guys. So that is my number 4 WrestleMania match of all time. So that pretty much wraps things up for this week. I just want to make a couple of quick announcements here. Coming up on WrestleMania week, there are going to be 3 episodes of Catch, Hook, and Shoot dropping that week. First up on Sunday, April the 4th, will be our regular weekly episode running down everything that's been going on for that week in pro wrestling. And then on Monday the 5th in the morning, I'm going to be dropping a WrestleMania week preview. It's going to be previews and predictions for all the shows going on during WrestleMania week. NXT TakeOver, NXT UK TakeOver, talking about the Hall of Fame, running down the entire WrestleMania card for both nights, just covering everything for WrestleMania week, and Charlie G will also have a special edition of the Indie Cut on that episode, talking about all the indie shows that are going on in Tampa that week. So yeah, that'll be dropping on Monday, April the 5th in the morning. And then Friday, April 9th, the night before WrestleMania Night 1, will be a third episode dropping of, it will be a panel discussion covering all things WrestleMania, not this year's card, but just talking about WrestleMania in general as a whole, as an event, throughout history. I've got, I'm going to have 4 guests on the show. We had a lot of fun talking about this stuff. We got into some fantasy booking scenarios, some alternate history about some what ifs about WrestleMania. Talking about WrestleMania place in the sports world, and just all kinds of different topics all about WrestleMania. It was a lot of fun. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. So that's going to be dropping on Friday, April the 9th, the day before WrestleMania Night 1. So definitely make sure you check that out. And also want to make mention one more time, we will be doing a live broadcast from Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series beginning on June the 5th. Warrior has announced there are going to be 3 events coming up this summer: June the 5th, July the 17th, I believe, was night 2, and an August date, which has not been officially announced yet. So 3 more Warrior Wrestling shows coming up this summer, and of course myself and Charlie G will be calling all the action live on Podbean from all 3 of those events. Cannot wait for it. Have not been to a live event since last summer's Warrior Stadium Series, so yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, like it always is with Warrior Wrestling, so make sure you check that out. And so that is going to wrap everything up for this week. Once again, I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, or subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure to head to the website, catchhookshoot.com. You can listen to the podcast, watch the YouTube videos, see all the interviews that I've done on the show. Yeah, pretty much anything and everything related to Catch Hook Shoot. You can buy merchandise from our shop, which I hope you will. We've got some pretty cool t-shirt designs and hat designs over there, so head over there to check that out. Head to patreon.com/catchhookshoot for bonus content. Head to twitch.tv/catchhookshoot most Saturdays at 7 p.m. for our Twitch watch party. Yeah, I'll definitely be having one this coming week unless something drastic happens. Like I said, I'm planning to, the movie I'm showing this week is called The Trade, about Sick Nick Mondo. Head to prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot for 5 really cool t-shirt designs we've got over there. You can find links to all of that and a whole lot more on linktree/catchhookshoot, or scan the QR code in the corner of your screen if you're watching on YouTube. And if you ever want to send me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So with that, I am going to sign off for right now. Hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy all the great wrestling coming up tonight and the rest of the week. And I will talk to you guys soon.